store-based retail strategy mix and non-store-based retail strategy mix. So we'll understand what is the store-based and what is the non-store-based also. So ownership forms are basically independent store. You know, there are independent supermarkets across, right? आज के दिन में तो इंडिया में बहुत सारे हो गए. Independent supermarkets, whatever are there in India, most of them have graduated from normal general trade stores, the kirana stores. Earlier kirana stores, they have graduated to a new format of retail now, with shelves, with aisle, with checkout counter, and so on and so forth. Right? They started using softwares for their billing, for their data storage and everything. Okay. Then there are chains. We know what chains are, right? Big Bazaar is a chain, DMart is a chain, Reliance is a chain, More is a chain, Spencer is a chain, and so is Amazon and Flipkart. And so, though we do not consider this as a store, Amazon, Flipkart, we take it as a retailer, okay, who operate from one particular space or one particular office. However, they deliver across the country. And then we have stores as franchisees, okay, who are there, who use the brand name of some other store, okay. Then there are lease departments, okay, vertical marketing system, consumer cooperative. We'll learn about each one of them, okay. Independent retailers, as they say, 2.3 million independent US retailers are there, accounts for 1/3 of the total store sales. Because total retail sales of 1/3 is being handled by independent US retailers. In fact, in Europe, Southeast Asia, most of the retailers are supermarkets. They have already converted from supermarket, okay, to supermarket, from normal general mom and pop stores. Most of them, okay, very few. In India, still kirana stores, general trade stores are very widely available. Okay, they are converting themselves to supermarket, but not at that speed like in Europe, or US or any other country. 70% of the independents operated by owners and their families. Okay. Why so many? Easy to enter. Easy to enter. You just have one premises and you can easily open a store, right? Company with state of independence, advantages, flexibility in format, location, strategy. They do not have a particular format. They make their own format. So they're very flexible. Their own premises. So whichever format they want to do, they make it. And they have their own strategies. Okay, sometimes these strategies are not that technically sharp strategies. We learned about a lot of strategies in our last 2 classes. Okay, however, these people who are independent stores, something like the kirana stores, the mom and pop stores, they actually do not have much of strategy. And they are very flexible. Today they have one strategy, tomorrow they have another strategy. Okay, control over investment, cost, personal functional strategies. Okay, everything is controlled by the owner. Their investment, their personal functions, each and every, employee who is working there, each and every department working there, is absolutely under the control of the owner. Personal image, everybody has their individual personal image. Okay, even if they have their store names, they have individual personal image, their names, right? Do you know anyone in Varanasi who have a personal store and they have a great image, they have a great name in the city? They may be supermarket, they may not be supermarket. Are you aware of any big one?
So there's this sweet store, sweets and savories and confectionaries, Rajbandhu and Rajshri. They are a very big brand over here, like in Varanasi.
Wonderful. Yeah. I think you will often find some apparel stores particularly who have made their big name in the city, right? That's very
yeah.
Right. So every city would have 1 or 2 such stores who have made their big personal image. Okay. And they have consistently done it for a long time, consistently, independently they have done it. Strong entrepreneurial leadership. The owner of that store has a great entrepreneurial skills, great business skills. Okay. Sometimes he may not be that educated guy also. He may not be an MBA, or he may not be an engineer, or he may not be a great chartered accountant, or any professional education he may not have, but he has great business skills, great entrepreneurial skills. And then there are disadvantages also: lack of bargaining power, okay, lack of economics of scale. What is, I will come to it a little later. Lack labor intensive operations, over dependence on owners, and limited long run plans. So what is lack of bargaining power? Because they are not big, because they are not a chain, so they are not in a position to bargain much with the manufacturers and the producers. Why? Because they cannot buy very big quantity. Now think about a big bazaar. They will bargain with Unilever's for 300 to 500 stores across the country. Huge volumes, tons and tons and tons of volumes they buy at one go for every product they buy from Unilever's or P&G or Nestle or Godrej or ITC. However, these stores which are independent stores, they do not have that scale. They do not have that scale, means they are not that large. They do not sell huge quantities. And of course, when they don't sell huge quantities, companies are not going to give them good negotiating partners. So that's what they lack. They are labor intensive, because their systems and processes are not set. They do not have so robust systems and processes. So they are people dependent. So they have high labor cost. Okay. Over dependence on,
So,
yeah, then.
sorry to interrupt. So, in a country like India, where the population is, very humongous, so I still remember back in the days in class 11th, when we were introduced to economics, I guess every sector in India is labor intensive, right?
Yes.
There's not a
And you can
capital
say that
intensive sector.
because labor is very cheap here. Labor is very cheap here because population is so huge that people need to work, and that's why labor is very cheap. And that's why shops can employ laborers, okay, can employ more and more people. Today, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 is the salary of those guys who are working in a retail store. They do not get any other benefit. 24 into 7, 365 days they go to work morning 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock and then come back in the night. And this is only possible in countries like India where the population is huge. Okay, that labor is a huge resource in India, which is very cheap. Okay, that's the thing. That's why it happens. And even in other countries, this is a major difference between a organized trade and a disorganized trade. Organized trade, a person who work a owner of a chain like Big Bazaar or maybe a D-Mart or maybe a Metro or a Walmart, they have very robust processes that their manpower requirement is. Whereas at the same time, in a small mom and pop store or a little bigger self-service counters, self-service supermarkets which are made in the localities, they do not have such robust systems and processes. So they need labor. Whether there is labor or not, that's a second question. Whether labor is cheap or not, that's a second question. However, they need more labor than a bigger supermarket. Okay. If you talk about per square feet utilization of labor, they will have always more than what bigger stores like Aldi or Target or Walmart or Metro or such supermarkets have. Okay. So that's the difference between organized and disorganized. Over dependence on owner. For everything and anything, the owner is involved. The decision making for everything, anything is the owner. There is no decentralization of work so that decisions are taken in different pockets. Okay. Whereas if you go to a Walmart, you go to a Metro, you go to a Big Bazaar, store managers are very powerful. Every individual, so 300, 400, 500 stores, every individual store managers take a lot of decisions. Every individual category buyers take a lot of decisions. Every individual, state heads take a lot of decisions. However, in an independent store, everything the owner has to take. Limited long run planning. They don't have a long term plan. They always have a short term. तरह से इस महीना निकल जाए, next महीना निकल जाए, 3 महीना निकल जाए, 1 साल निकल जाए. They don't have plans like Big Bazaar or Walmart. Walmart has a joint business plan with companies for 1 year full, 2 years full, next 5 years. How is the business going to grow? What are the new products going to come? They discuss in details, hours, 6 hours, 8 hours meeting होता है Walmart के साथ companies का, Levers, Nestle. 1 दिन 2 दिन का मीटिंग होता है for a long term JBP, joint business plan. They discuss How is the company, how is Walmart going to grow, and how is their vendor Unilever going to grow? What are the new products going to, which are the new products which are going to come? What is the volume they can sell? What is the promotions they can do? What is the pricing they can have? Everything in details. In small stores, they don't have anything like that. Correct. So useful online publication for small retailers. So small retailers, they try and be there in a small way in that small city, okay, and they collaborate together and have lot of exchanges through local magazines, lot of promotions through their local publications, and also on online publications. Okay, now they have started getting into online also. Okay, so there are online tools for them to manage their business also. Okay, and this is something which the new generation in those independent supermarket, the new generation is not the earlier generation, the old generation. The new generation who are a little bit more educated, they have come with an MBA or they have done a good professional course. They are coming with these kind of ideas of getting online, using the online tools, and so on and so forth. Okay. Chain retailers operate multiple outlets under common ownership. So just like Big Bazaar has 400 outlets, Reliance has 600 outlets, and so on and so forth. And all big stores, either supermarkets or hypermarkets. Correct? They have chain of stores. Engage in some level of centralized or coordinated purchasing and decision making. So all of these, Reliance has their headquarters in Mumbai. Big Bazaar has the Future Group has their headquarters in Mumbai. Aditya Birla has a headquarters in Mumbai. Spencer have their headquarters in Kolkata. Spar has their headquarters in Bangalore, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these headquarters are their centralized offices, from where the purchase decisions are made, where the financial decisions are made, and every decision is made there. The purchasing is done centrally there. They can bargain a lot with every company to share margins. Right? In the US, there are roughly 110,000 retail chains operating about 1 million establishments. In India, it's not that big till now, but however, there are almost, I will tell you, till 5 years back, there were almost 13 retail chains, big retail chains, national retail chains. Okay, and there were more than 50 or 60 regional retail chains also, and they used to have more than 5,000 to 6,000 stores across the country. So US has 110,000. We are still much behind. Okay? Not more than 6,000, 7,000 stores. Okay. And you can count in your fingers who are the national ones. Future Group, Big Bazaar, your DMart, your Reliance, your Spar, your Spencer, your more Aditya Birla, more, and couple of more of them. Competitive state of change. Okay. Advantages are bargaining power. As I said, they are huge. They need huge quantity of products, so they can bargain with the companies to give them share their margins. The companies share their margins, give them additional margin, additional incentives for the purchases. Cost efficient because they are very high in procurement, very cost-effective procurement. They get lot of discounts and lot of margins. What happens is their whole, business becomes very cost efficient. Efficiency maintained by computerization, warehouse sharing, and other functions. So because of computerization, a lot of things, they do not need much manpower. Everything is data-based, everything is digitized. They share warehouses because they have large quantities. They take big warehouses where they share with some other companies too. And other functions. They outsource a lot of resources where they are shared resources. Defined management philosophy. The management has defined their philosophy, their values, their principles, their way to do business. Okay. Considerable effort in long-term planning, long-run planning, as I just mentioned it. Okay. Like I told you about Walmart, every supermarket chain, Big Bazaar, DMart, everybody has a long-term planning. They have joint business plans with the vendors. Who are the vendors? The companies who supply them. Whether it be small, whether it be big, whatever may be the potential, they have a joint business plan for short term as well as long term. Okay. Disadvantages, limited flexibility because they are large organizations who have defined processes, systems, philosophies, values, principles. The flexibility is very limited. The flexibility to change these ways is very, very, because they've already got a set of, strong set of SOPs, standard operating procedures, strong set of philosophies, strong set of values, principles, strong set of processes, systems. They cannot break it. If they need to change them, they need to really have a big brainstorming in the top end. Higher investment costs. Because they have a lot of premises, they have a lot of assets, the investments are high. Obviously, the investments are high, that they need to make up. So they need to have a bit more cost-efficient business. And that comes from their large bargaining power. Okay? Complex managerial control is something like a full corporate. The CEOs and CXOs and the CFOs, and then the vice presidents, and then the senior management, then the middle management, then the junior management, and then the frontliners. A full hierarchy. Management control has different levels. Store supervisor to store manager to the category buyer, and so on and so forth. Limited independence and among personnel. So there's no decision making. Decentralized decision making is there. However, independence is not there. Everybody has to follow that system, that process, that SOP, that values, that principle, that philosophy. Excessive standardization due to extreme concern for bargaining. So, why excessive standardization? If I have to, have a large bargaining power, I need to have large quantities to be sold. So I cannot have huge variation in the products. Okay. I cannot have huge variation in the products. I have to have more of standardized products, standardized procurement. If I want to have detergent powder, I will have detergent powder, but I will not have detergent powder of 100 different kinds. I'll possibly have standardized detergent powders from 3 companies. I'll tell you, Big Bazaar. If you go to Big Bazaar, they have a policy of not more than 3 products from different. 3 similar products from 3 different companies, not more than that. They do not allow the 4th company in the same company to be there. So if you had to sell detergent powder, they will only possibly buy from Levers and P&G and maybe one more company, not the 4th company. So very, very standardized processes, very, very standardized expectations and demands. So this is just an example, US example, international retail fashion stores. And this is not only for, I told you about consumer retail, for fashion retail, the same thing, for electronic retail, the same thing, everybody. Franchising, a contractual agreement between a franchisor and a retail franchisee that allows the franchisor to conduct business under an established name and according to a given pattern of business. Basically, franchisees are UN. People like UN who want to do business. However, they don't want to start from scratch. What they can do is they can go to some bigger brands, just like McDonald's, just like Domino's, just like XYZ, bigger brands, come back, even Starbucks. Starbucks has the biggest franchisee in India. Tatas are their franchisees. So what Tata has done, they did not want to start a coffee quick service retail business from scratch. They took the franchising from Starbucks, already an established name. Okay, they do not have to promote much. They do not have to advertise much. They do not have to, do a fight to gather their customers. They do not have to set up new processes, new recipes, new systems. Everything is ready. They only have to procure it from Starbucks. They even have the standardized. They even have. Yes,
Yeah, sir, here's the question. Sir, I want to know how this works. You gave this question, right? कि ऐसे कुछ stores होते होंगे जो कि बहुत famous होते होंगे. So there are various stores like जिनका कोई brand name नहीं होता है. they just open their entire showroom, and uske andar like Veromoda, Zara,
Yeah, yeah.
and सारे brands अंदर रखे रहते हैं. वो क्या होते हैं?
Talk about pantaloons. Talk about shopper stock. Yeah, they are such stores who they talk about brand factory. These are all stores who keep. They are aggregators of different brands. Okay, they are called aggregators of different brands. They bring brands from any good company and they sell it there. In fact, कभी-कभी तो आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि उस स्टोर में जाओगे तो you will get products cheaper than the main company stores. Okay, and so they are the people who can bargain. They are great supermarkets for that. So जैसे आप एपरल सुपरमार्केट बोल रहे हो, अब आप कंज्यूमर सुपरमार्केट बोलते हो, बिग बाजार में जा रहे हैं, साबुन का 10 वैरायटी मिलता है, and from different companies. So are these apparel companies. So are these electronic chains, electronic supermarkets. So they have these are the supermarkets who sell other brands, who sell different brands in this store. Correct. Okay. So that particular brand factory has its own image. Shoppers Stop has its own image. Pantaloons have its own image. Pantaloons is basically from Future Goods, same Big Bazaar. They have made their own image as a store. जैसे बिग बाजार ने अपना नाम बनाया एज ए स्टोर, जैसे मोर ने अपना नाम बनाया, स्पेंसर ने अपना नाम बनाया एज ए स्टोर, that brand factory also has made his name of the store, image of the store. And they are often chains. There's not only one brand factory in India, there are 20 brand factories possible. Okay. So coming back to franchising. So suppose I want to do a burger business. Okay. I have decided that I will have to do a burger business. Now, if I have to start from scratch, I will possibly learn the recipe of a good burger. I will possibly, have to design a good burger stores. I have to get the people who can prepare the burgers properly, and so on and so forth. They need to be trained and so on. Then, over and above that, I need to advertise my company to get good customers, make them loyal customers. Now, if I do not want to do all that, take all that headache. Okay, what I do, I go to McDonald's, I tell them that I want to take a franchisee. McDonald's will give me every support, starting from their brand. They will put their brand, give us their brand to be used in our store. They will give the training to my people. They will give the quality ingredients of my product. They will see the quality check. They will even design my store, design my outlet, everything they will do for me. And so I do not have to do any headache. Only thing that I have to go and sell the product. And whatever profits I make from their selling, a part of it goes to the franchise as a franchisee fee. Okay, so I might be doing making a little bit less profit by giving that franchisee fee away. However, I am sure that I am getting a good brand with me. I'm working for a great brand. My sales are sure to happen. My revenues are sure to come. It's a sure success story. Correct. So today, if you talk about most of the ice cream companies like Baskin Robbins, Natural, and so on, they're all franchise stores. You go to apparel, Jockey has made a lot of franchise stores across the country. Okay. And similarly, there are many electronics ones. Apple has their franchise in India. There are two major franchises, NASA and Imagine in India. They're the only exclusive Apple franchises. Anybody who wants to open an exclusive store has to either go through Imagine or NASA. So that's what a franchising is. Franchisees pay an initial fee and a monthly percentage of the gross sales in the exchange for the exclusive right to sell goods and services in the area. Correct? Got it? The real origin of franchising? Just a second.
Henny is looking for the perfect domain name deal. That's why she needs Namecheap.
Can you see the screen?
There are hundreds of domain extensions available, spanning all types of interests and industries. All
Can you see the screen?
No, sir.
Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So, can you hear the sound?
Yes, sir.
Quick, what's common between beef burgers, baseball training, and auto mufflers? Tough question. Let's ask it another way. What's the common factor between McDonald's, D-Bat, and Meineke? You may know the answer if, along with the Big Mac, you've absorbed a fragment of the romantic story of Ray Kroc. He's the salesman who created what became the world's biggest fast food chain. He did it by making a deal with a couple of men called the McDonald's, brothers they were, owners of a small restaurant chain, and the deal was he could use their brand name and their methods. Then he invited small entrepreneurs to open McDonald's that they'd run as operators, with an ownership stake. Very different than the business model where mom and pop stores have full ownership but no similar support. All the examples in my opening question are franchise operations. Kroc is sometimes credited with inventing franchising, and so is Isaac Singer, the sewing machine magnate. Not so. The real genesis of franchising was not in stitches or beef. It was in beauty. Martha Matilda Harper was a Canadian-born maid. She made the beds, cleaned house, did the shopping. In the employment of a doctor's family in Ontario, she acquired a secret formula for shampoo, one more scientifically based than the quackeries advertised every day in the newspapers. The kindly doctor also taught the maturing young woman the elements of physiology. Martha had a secret ambition to go along with the secret formula, a determination to run her own business. By 1888, serving as a maid in Rochester, New York, she'd saved enough money, $360, to think of opening a public hairdressing salon. But before she could realize her dream, 2 blows fell. She became sick and collapsed from exhaustion. Mrs. Helen Smith, a healing practitioner of the Christian Science faith, was summoned to her bedside. The 2 women prayed, and Martha recovered. No sooner was she better than she was told, "Oh no, you can't rent the place you vied." You see, her venture was to be the first public hairdressing salon. A woman in business was shocking enough then. Only 17% of the workforce in 1890 was female. But a woman carrying out hairdressing and skin care in a public place, why, it was sure to invite a scandal. Martha spent some of her savings on a lawyer and won her case. She proudly displayed on the door of her new salon a photograph of the barely 5-foot Martha as Rapunzel, with hair down to her feet, but glowing with good health. Her sickness, too, had proved a boon. Her ambition was now propelled by Christian Science values. The Harper method, as she came to call her services, was as much about servicing the soul as it was about cutting hair. In the therapeutic serenity of her salon, she taught that every person could glow with the kind of beauty she had, if spiritually whole and physically obedient to what she called the laws of cleanliness, nourishment, exercise, and breathing. She was very practical about it. She even designed the first reclining and this is where Martha's ethical sense inspired her crowning innovation. Instead of commissioning agents, as other innovators had done, from 1891 she installed working-class women just like herself in salons exactly like hers, dedicated to her philosophy and her products. But these new employees were not provided a salary by Martha. The women in what became a satellite network of 500 salons in America and then Europe and Central America and Asia actually own the Harper salons. What was good enough in the 19th century for suffragette campaigners like Susan B. Anthony, and was good enough in the 20th century for Woodrow Wilson, Calvin and Grace Coolidge, Jacqueline Kennedy, Helen Hayes, and Lady Bird Johnson, must be good enough for the rest of the world. Today, only the Harper Method founder's shop remains in Rochester, New York, but Martha's legacy is manifold. Her health and beauty treatments have been copied, and her business model is dominant. In fact, half of retail sales in America are through Martha Harper's franchising idea. So next time you enjoy a McDonald's hamburger or a good night's rest at a Days Inn, think of Martha, because these franchises might not be the same without her inventing the model over a century ago.
Okay. Good. So you could understand
For
what.
just $67, you can make as many videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera or use any fancy.
Okay. So you could understand what how a franchisee can be started, right? Even you have some secret recipe someday. You want to make it successful throughout the world. You won't be able to possibly do it yourself. Franchise that to people around you and start the revolution there. McDonald's also started the same way. Domino's, pizzas, Starbucks, KFC, everybody started the same way. Okay. Even in India, there are plenty of examples. There's a salon. There's a great hair cutter called Javed, if you're aware. Okay. Javed ke salon sare country mein milenge. So Javed doesn't go everywhere to cut the salon, cut the hair, right? Javed has given franchises across the country. So there are similarly many examples of your many different businesses who are doing franchises. Okay. Coming back to the presentation, franchising format, product, trademark, business format. Franchises acquires the identity of a franchisor by agreeing to sell products and or operate under the franchise's name. Franchises operates autonomously. 60% retail franchising, 60% of retail franchising sales. Okay. So what is important to understand is this: they have their autonomous business. However, they are controlled by the principal company. McDonald's will control the quality of the products in the McDonald's store that you go. Similarly, Starbucks will control the quality. Starbucks will control the, everything that that their franchises would do, starting from quality to customer relationship to data management to everything. Only the profit will be shared as a part of going as a franchisee fee and a part as a profit to that franchise. Okay. Now, franchisee receives assistance, business format. He receives assistance of location, quality control, accounting system, startup practices, management training, and everything from the franchisor, right? Common for restaurants, real estates, and nowadays it's common for many things. Many things. I will tell you, in India there are franchisee exhibitions, franchisers exhibitions. There are trade shows for franchises, which happens in Mumbai and Delhi, where plenty of companies come to appoint franchise. Even chote companies, small companies like Chayos. There are small businesses. Someone selling, samosas. Can you believe it? They are selling samosa, chai and samosa. They have got their franchising business. Laundromats, laundry services. They have given franchises. So many of them. It's becoming very prevalent now. Okay. Selected factors for prospective franchises to consider: cost. In exchange of the right to use the franchise's name and benefit from the franchise's assistance, you will pay various costs. Initial franchisee fee and other expenses, continuing royalty payment and advertising fees. So you will share the advertising fees with the principal company, suppose McDonald's, Starbucks, or whoever. You will give a royalty payment, that is a franchisee. You're using their brand name, you're using their, recipes, you're using their know-how, so you have to pay a royalty payment for them. Okay. And of course, a franchisee fee, a part of the profit. Okay. Franchises control to ensure uniformity. Franchisors often control how franchisees do business. These controls may restrict the ability to use your own judgment. Okay. Site approval, design or appearance standards, restrictions on goods, services sold, restrictions on methods of operation, restrictions on sales. So cafe coffee day. All the franchises of cafe coffee day, or even McDonald's nowadays, McDonald's doesn't do it. Even cafe coffee day, Starbucks, a lot of them sell a lot of snacks. They sell samosas, they sell puffs, they sell cakes, and so on and so forth. Okay. And so these has to be approved by the franchisor, because that affects the quality of the store. But you will go to all the McDonald's stores or Domino's stores, they will look similar. They have same kind of branding, same kind of color, same kind of their furnitures. So these are all controlled by the franchisee. So there is a very little judgment or decision making by you as a franchisee. Correct. Contractual obligations. Contracts last for the number of years stated. You can lose the right to fee of franchisee if you don't comply with the contract. So there's a very, very, very strong contract between the franchisee and the franchisee. A franchisor can terminate the agreement for a variety of reasons. Renewals are not automatic. Franchises may decline to renew or offer a renewal that doesn't have the same terms as the original contract. So that's a big challenge, right? You are doing a business. Suppose McDonald's has their 2 major franchises in India. Okay, who have the rights to build up stores across the country? One for North and West, one for South and East. So one of those franchisors contract ended in 2014. If you remember, I don't know if you remember that year, you were a little young that time, 2014, 15, that was, no, sorry, not 15, 16, that was the time when this franchise's contract ended. And when he wanted to sign the new contract, the whole contract had new terms and conditions, which he did not want to accept. So McDonald's said that we are not going to do business with you. Then he put a legal case with them. He went into a legal case with McDonald's. And he was almost on the verge of, giving up, because obviously fighting out with McDonald's as a multinational global company is very difficult. However, this guy was also strong. He kept on fighting for a long time. At the end of the day, they settled out of court and they continued with the business. Okay. Franchisee disclosure document contains the franchisee and any predecessors, the franchisor and any predecessor, legalization history, bankruptcy, any franchisee who may have filed, listing of initial franchisee fee and other initial payments, other fees and expenses, statement of franchisee's initial investment, obligation of franchisees to purchase or lease from the designated sources. So franchisee has to procure from designated sources. If McDonald's decide that this is my source of the burger, the buns, then the franchisee cannot go and buy buns from somebody else. If they say that you have to buy the sauces from this company, so they cannot go and buy the sauces from someone else. They have an obligation to buy from those sources where it is stated by the franchisee. Obligations of franchisees to purchase or lease in accordance with specifications or from authorized suppliers. So a lot of disclosure there in that content. Franchising, financing agreements. How will that guide the franchisee finance the business? Obligations of franchisor, other supervision, assistant or service. Exclusive designated area of territory, that he can only have his store in a particular territory. He cannot go and have a store in a different area where the franchisor doesn't approve. Trademarks, service marks, trade names, logo types, and commercial symbols. Everything has to be just like the principal company has told them. Patent and copyright. They cannot flout the patent and copyright. Obligations of franchisee to participate in actual operations of the franchisee business. He should then himself be there in that franchise. Okay, franchise business. Restriction. You can't say that Aditi has agreed to be a franchisee of McDonald's and Aditi doesn't operate the business. That's unusual. If I have signed a contract with you, you have to be there. Restrictions on goods and services offered by the franchise. So if you want to sell anything else than what the franchisor has allowed you, or any other services that the franchisor has allowed you, there's a restriction. You have to really, really fight and get an approval from the franchisor. And last but not least, renewal, termination, repurchase, modification, assignment of franchise agreement, and written information. These are all in the disclosure. Arrangement with public figures. Okay, so if you are, you know, you have an arrangement. If you, as a franchise, if you are having an arrangement with Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, any cricketer, any public figure, okay, those are listed in that disclosure. Those are put in the disclosure. Actually, so if McDonald's have a arrangement with these kind of public figures or these kind of authorities, okay, they have to disclose that, okay, and the franchisee has to accept it. Actual average projected or forecasted franchising sales, profit, and earning, that's also mentioned in that disclosure. Okay, that agreement. Information regarding franchises of the franchisee. Okay, so if the franchisor has given franchisee to many other, a franchise to many other, they all has to be listed there, given their financial statements, contracts, acknowledgement of receipt by respective franchisees, okay, so on and so forth. Okay. Pros and cons of Dunkin' Donuts franchise. Dunkin' Donuts, another company who totally works in franchise. No company-owned stores. Outside suppliers can be approved. No markup on approved sign. Average sales in Metro, this is New York is 9 this March, 41.4% at the above or above average. 19-day initial training program and so on. So these are the pros. Okay, so the most important thing is they allow, if you go to a Dunkin' Donuts store, they allow procuring products from suppliers, any other suppliers, outside suppliers. Okay. Cons, no exclusive territory can license other retailers to sell donuts, seek to convert. So in one territory, it's not necessary that you are the only franchise. They can give it to Dunkin' Donuts, can give it to 10 other franchises. Sell donuts in supermarkets, convenience stores, airports, universities, everywhere. Referral incentives to existing franchises. Okay, so if you are a franchisee and if you refer another person to become a franchisee to Dunkin' Donuts, they get incentive. So these are franchisee brokers. So you are actually allowing more than one in the same territory because the franchisee brokers are there to appoint more and more franchisees. 12 to 34 litigation history in one case. This is just an example. So there are plenty of litigation histories between the franchisee. That is there are cases filed against them. Plenty of litigations in the court. Continuing franchisee fees 5.9% of sales, continuing advertising fee 5% of sales, loan guarantee fee 1% of loan amount, plus net sales. So bank will only give the loan if Dunkin' Donuts is, because they trust Dunkin' Donuts. If Dunkin' Donuts, guarantees the loan to you, so they will take 1% of that. So see the kind of money Dunkin' Donuts is going to earn. And cons, basically board members sell eggs. Dunkin' Donut has right to approve advertising. Dunkin' Donut can appoint additional members to the brand advisory council, can dissolve council is only advisory. So the board members of Dunkin' Donut, they sell eggs. They are not into donuts. Okay. Chalo. So go and take a 10 minutes break and come back.
Okay, sir.
Okay, are you guys there? Priyanshu, you are there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think Aditi is connected. Okay, so structural arrangement in retail franchising. I don't want to make your life complicated. So basically, to understand, basically the manufacturer retailer, okay, has an understanding arrangement. Example: auto truck dealers, General Motors, petroleum product dealers, ExxonMobil. Okay, so they have their own franchises. So if you talk about in India, we uh, uh, our dealers for our automobiles, something like Honda, you will see that XYZ Honda. Okay. If you go to a petrol pumps, all petrol pumps are franchised by the main company, HP, Indian Oil. They have franchised them to these petrol pumps. Right? So this petrol pump not only sell their petrol, they are franchised. So they have to give a franchisee royalty fee to these companies because they are using their brand names. Okay. Wholesale retail. Okay. Voluntary and cooperative. Auto accessories store. Okay. They are voluntary. Sometimes they are cooperative. Okay, consumer electronics stores. Okay, associated foods and cooperative. Why? Because wholesale retailers can sell anything and everything. Okay. So if somebody only sells accessories, somebody only sells foods. Okay, and cooperative store for all the cooperative wholesale for all kind of foods, all kind of hardwares. Okay, so not only that particular franchise. So something like I told you, Brand Factory, I was discussing with Aditi and you, Brand Factory or Pantaloon. They have a franchisee with the original company like called Levi or maybe Wrangler or such big brands. So they will be selling their brands only exclusively there. Correct? They are wholesale. They are retailers who take bulk quantities and they sell. Right? They sell. They can get franchisee of different companies. Of cooperative. Service sponsored retailers, auto rental firms, or auto repair shops. So you can see that Maruti gives services. Okay, or maybe I won't say Maruti. In India, possibly you can say that there are rental services for cars. There are
Yes,
rental services for bikes, right? So these are all given by those companies. Okay, they're given by those companies. The rental services of cars are given by some big company, like even in India they have Hertz. In India they have or fast food restaurants like McDonald's. Even there, hotels and Marriott. Marriott as a chain of hotels, they have franchised all their hotels to somebody else. So these are all services sponsored. Correct. Wholesale sponsored, manufacturer, retailer sponsored, normal retailer, wholesale to retailer, wholesale retailer sponsored, and service sponsors. Okay. Voluntary wholesale, voluntary retail structure. How is it? A wholesaler sets up a franchisee system and grants franchises to individual retailers. So I am a wholesaler. I am a very, very big wholesaler. I have a great brand image. I have given that brand name to some small retailers who will use my brand name and they will sell my products. Okay. Something like I don't know, you won't be knowing. There is something called like Dorabji's in Pune. Okay, they are a big wholesale store, and they have given small they have given their rights to small supermarkets who use their name. Okay, and so on and so forth. There are many of them actually. Okay. Cooperative, a group of retailers set up a franchisee system and shares the ownership and operation of a wholesaling operation. So there are small group of retailers who have made a cooperative. They have given them the cooperative a big name. Okay, and they have started, giving franchisee to small retailers. Okay, or small franchisee, small businessmen who want to do their franchising. In India, there are a lot of cooperatives who operate from a central place, and they have given their rights to small cooperatives across. Okay. One of them, if I remember, the agriculture produce area. What was the name of that? Just please. Okay, so I remember the name. It's called KBP Cooperative. It's very much in North India. They sell all kinds of agricultural produce like rice and sugar and wheat and other agricultural produce. Okay, and they have formed their cooperatives. Their head office is in Delhi, in Old Delhi, and they have given a franchisee to many small retailers or who have opened their franchisee stores in the name of KBP. Competitive state of franchising, advantage and disadvantage, low capital required. Okay, because you are not doing any other investment other than just giving the franchisee fee and the initial franchisee fee and the royalty. Correct. Acquisition of well-known names. Okay, so you can acquire all good, great names. Operating management skill taught. The advantages are the bigger company, the principal company teaches you the management skills. Cooperative marketing possible. Exclusive rights. You've got exclusive rights of that particular brand. Whether it be McDonald's, Starbucks, Domino's, whoever you are selling. Baskin Robbins, Jockey, whatever. Less costly per unit. If you had to invest and start from scratch, of course, your investment would be so high that per unit cost would go up. So that's one advantage. Disadvantage, oversaturation could occur. Okay, so what is that? There can be too many franchises in one area. Franchises may overstate potential. So when you are taking the franchise, when you are taking that business, you are becoming a franchisee of a good franchisor, he may overstate the potential. He may say that the business potential is of 10 lakhs per month. And ideally, or actually the potential may be 5 lakhs or 8 lakhs or 3 lakhs. Most of the time, I personally wanted to have a franchising business, once upon a time. And I went to a good franchisor, and the kind of business he promised was huge. And accordingly, he was asking for the franchisee fee and the initial fee. So that's a big problem for countries everywhere, actually, not only in India, everywhere. Contractual confinement. Because you are having a contract, you're confined to that, you cannot go out of it. Agreement may be cancelled or void, as we have learned. Agreement may be cancelled anytime. Royalties are based on sales, not profit. That's a gain problem. So if it was a profit, you would have shared profit. Now, if they say that the royalty is 5% or 10% of the total sales, think about the kind of margin you're going to lose. If you had 20% margin or 20% profit, 10% of the total sales means 10% of your margin is going straight away. Right? So that's a big disadvantage. From the franchises, this is from the franchising company, from the franchises perspective, from the company who is giving franchising, national or global presence possible. You can do franchising across a country. Qualification for franchisee operations is set and enforced. You have got policies, you have got systems, processes, rules, regulations, SOPs, everything, philosophy, values, principles, everything set. So how the qualification for that franchise is absolutely set. It has to be enforced. Money obtained at delivery. Just when you give it, you still get the money. Royalty represents revenue stream. So every month you are getting the royalty. It's something like sharing the profit out of it, sharing the revenue out of the business. Potential problem, potentials for harm to reputation if the quality is not maintained, if the image is not maintained, if there is some manipulation, there's a big potential harm to the main brand, McDonald's, Starbucks, and so on and so forth. People will not understand the franchisee is doing manipulation. People will take it for you that the company is doing this. Lack of uniformity affect customer loyalty. So if there is lack of standardization, lack of uniformity, one franchisee store looks something, he sells something, the other franchisee stores look something, he sells something, the services are something else. If there's a lack of uniformity, the customer's loyalty goes off. Ineffective franchise units may damage resale value profitability. So if there's a unit which is not working well, which is not effective, it's ineffective, their sales are not high, their profits are not high, and the company wants to resell that franchise, it will be a big damage. Potential limits to franchisees rules. The franchisees rules have potential limits, right? Because you can't flout the rule. Unfortunately, what happens is the franchisor gets it. Potential conflict between franchisor and franchisee, high power of franchisor related to the franchisee. Of course, the franchisor is the most bigger guy. There will be always a power battle. The franchisee needs franchisors' approval to sell business and to extend franchise. Okay. Lease is generally in the name of franchisor. Franchises obtain profit based on gross sales. हाँ, 1 लाख रुपए का बेच रहे हो आपको 10,000 रुपए देना पड़ता है 10% franchise or 5,000 देना पड़ता है 5,000 franchise. So how much profit are you going to make a 5% franchise? A major portion of your profit goes because you are giving franchisee fees on sales, royalty on sales. Right? Franchises require goods and services to purchase from its approved vendor. मुझे कहीं और सस्ते में भी अगर सॉसेस मिल रहा है नहीं खरीद नहीं पाऊंगा. I have to buy it from where the franchisor is stored. Franchisor can break up territory of existing franchising, reducing its sale and profitability. Anytime the franchisor can give a franchisee to another person the same territory. So the sales and profitability of this current franchisee goes down. That's the major. These are all major conflicts between franchisees. Now we come to another topic called lease departments. A lease department is a department retail store that is rented to an outside party. So you must have seen in many stores, supermarkets particularly, that given a small little area to a bakery. They have given a small little area to a restaurant. They have given a small little area to a company like Lakme. So this is the lease department. So they have given rent to that. They are given that area on rent to that other company. They are not; those other companies are not part of that department. They have taken lease of space from that department, that supermarket. Right? The proprietor is responsible for all aspects of his business and pays a percentage of sales as rent. जितना भी सेल होता है उसका एक परसेंटेज दे देता है. Everything else depends on the proprietor of that department, that restaurant, that bakery, that store. Department store sets operating restrictions to ensure consistency and coordination. So what happens is that the principal department, the supermarket, or the departmental store, what they do is they have got operating restrictions. They have agreements that the ones who have got leased, they will have a consistency in their quality, consistency in their customer relationship, consistency in a lot of things. So you have all gone to these multiplexes, right? वाराणसी में भी होगा multiplex, Inox या whatever, ठीक है? कौन सा multiplex है? वाराणसी में कौन सा है?
सर IP मॉल है और GHP मॉल है.
And what is that cinema hall there? Cinema का ये multiplex कौन सा है?
सर मतलब सारे एक ही हैं. IP मॉल में
PVR वगैरह सब है क्या वहाँ?
हाँ, PVR भी है.
PVR Romeo. Anyway, so
PVR cinemas.
yeah, so if you have gone to those kind of complexes, multiplex complexes at that particular that mall, you will find on the top floor of the mall is a food court. Food court is a very typical example of this department.
Mostly named as rooftops.
रूफटॉप ठीक है, वहां पर छोटे छोटे आपको बहुत सारे आउटलेट्स मिल जाएंगे, ठीक है. All of them have similar policies, similar way of dealing with customers. Some only thing is that somebody would be selling dosa, somebody would be selling snacks, somebody would be selling Chinese, ठीक है. लेकिन सबको वहां पर रेंट दे रहे हैं. They have to maintain certain restrictions of policies and to have consistency for the customers, ठीक है. Police departmental store, I'll try and show you one video.
Introducing Speechalo, the most natural sounding text-to-speech software on the market. Hey, I'm Joey, and I'm one of the 30 AI voices from Speechalo.
For us at the House of Marley, we believe touch and feel, connecting with your product at a deeper level is very important. We believe society and consumers are getting away from throwaway technology. They want product that lasts, they want product that's made well and is made different. And when you're using organic materials, when you're using rich FSC wood and bamboo, you naturally want to touch it. And that's that organic connection that we can bring to retail and bring to the consumer space with Marley, which no one else is doing. I'm really excited that the store within a store concept is doing extremely well. You look at how powerful this experience is at CES. Could you imagine this in your average retail environment? So our customers have been loving it, our retail partners have been loving it. Not only are we obviously seeing an increase in business within those environments, but an increase in engagement of our brand, an increase in being able to tell our story and make that stronger connection at retail. So what you see behind us here is a real representation of the same materials we manufacture from. So we have FSC wood as our main wood structure here. We have our rewind material, which is reclaimed hemp, organic cotton, and we upcycle water bottles. So we clean up the planet a little bit as we go. And really this is a true representation of our materials on stage at retail to really show our product off. When I joined the House of Marley organization, we recognized that it was very expensive to build the way we build, and it still is. But for us, it was really about bringing great Marley product to market, but not transferring all of those costs to the consumer. So when we look at 2-year warranty on all Marley product, when we look at building with organic material, FSC wood, that's really our tiebreaker. We don't transfer that into cost into our product, so we bring a lot of value into our product. We really design with purpose. We design product that works well, that's simple to use, that people understand, and I think Marley has a unique ability to kind of take away from some of those anxieties of technology and some technology-driven brands. And I think the warmth of the materials really attracts you to Marley. It almost pulls you in. And it's really, again, a way for us to invest in the marketplace and saying, we care about the consumer. We care about his or her experience, and we owe it to the consumer to help them understand our product and do it in an environment that they're really proud to shop in. Definitely check us out on houseofmarley.com, through our social channels, and come and see us in store.
Okay, so that was basically the concept, a store inside a store. It can be a food store, it can be any other store. I've seen many electronic stores inside a good supermarket. Simply, Samsung has opened a full store there inside a supermarket. That's not owned by the supermarket's owner. It's owned by Samsung. They are giving rent. They are maintaining the whole restrictions, policies, all their contract which we have. They will maintain that. So competitive states of these departmental stores provides one-stop shopping to customers. Okay. Lessee handles management. So if Samsung is having that store, Samsung will have the management. Will handle the management of the store. Okay. Reduces store costs because you do not have to buy that space. You are renting that space. However, you are renting that space in a very, very high traffic area, because that department store itself is a traffic area, good traffic area. Right? Provides a stream of revenue. Okay, continuously provides a stream of revenue to the lessee who has leased the space, and to the lessor who has given the space, because he is also earning from that as a rent. Right? Potential pitfalls: lessee may negate store image. Yes, so that person, suppose you have given it to a restaurant or a bakery or anybody inside a supermarket, the quality of that bakery, the products in the bakery may not be good, and may negate the image of the store. That may be a big hit to the stores. Right? Procedures may conflict with departmental stores. So procedures followed by that guy, that lessee, like a bakery or a restaurant or electronic store or whatever, may not be in line with what the departmental store wants. Okay, there can be conflict there. Problem may be blamed on department store rather than lessee. So sometimes customers, they will come and buy a bad product from there, or will have a bad experience from there, and they will blame the department stores, not the store inside the store. Correct. Common lease departments for department stores: cosmetics, fragrance, very, very common. You go into Big Bazaar, you will find one corner of Lakme or some other good cosmetics company, some fragrance company. Bigger, supermarkets, larger malls have fragrance stores. Okay, जहाँ पर आप deos and scents and perfumes खरीदते हो. Beauty salons and spas. Lot of food, small food, snacking food stores. Fine jewelries, photography studios, opticals. These are very common in India. Furs possibly is not common in India. Furs are basically used in the places which are cold. Okay, we have all seen this, right? Priyanshu, we have seen it in good malls, right?
Yes.
Optical stores, Chashme Wala store, sunglasses, then fine jewelry stores. Sometimes even photography studio inside.
Yes.
So there's something called vertical marketing system. Okay, so independent channel system: manufacturer, wholesale, retailer. Ownership: independent manufacturer, independent wholesaler, independent. There is no relation between each other. Manufacturers are there who supplies to wholesaler and distributor. They supply to retailers. They operate individually. They do not have any contract or any relationship with the people on above there in the vertical, other than business, other than give and take, transactional relationship, buy, sell, that kind of relationship. There is no contract, there is no regulation, there is no restriction from one to the other. Okay. Partially integrated channel system: manufacturer, wholesale, retail. Ownership: two channel members own all facilities and perform all functions. Okay, so the function manufacture, they manufacture them. Then somebody has co-owned them. There's a co-owning the whole business, and somebody else is wholesaling and retailing. So it's partially integrated channel system. The channels are partially integrated. There is a manufacturer, there is a wholesaler, there is a retailer. The manufacturer is doing wholesaling, wholesaler is doing retailing. Okay. So these are very, very common. Manufacturer doing wholesaling. I'll give you. Let me try and give you an example. Manufacturer doing wholesaling. Manufacturer doing retailing, we have seen everywhere. Okay, so possibly a Dell laptop is selling. Dell company is selling their laptops through e-commerce. They have their own e-commerce website and tracking. So you can buy Samsung phones through their Samsung websites, and now it is very common. Now, manufacturer doing wholesaling is basically, something like mostly I know some apparel companies like if you talk about Arvind Mills, if you talk about Century Cottons, they have got wholesaling units where they sell products in bulk. They sell shirts, they sell trousers in bulk. Okay. They sell apparels in bulk, and there are retailers who go and buy it from those websites. Correct. So such integration is possible between two to channel members. And finally, fully integrated channel, manufacturer, wholesale, retailer. All production and distribution function are performed by one channel, either the manufacturer or the wholesaler or the retailer. He only produces, he only packs, he only does wholesaling, and he only does. But plenty of manufacturers who do this, particularly manufacturers of accessories, you can say, accessories, electronic accessories. They do their wholesaling. Like if you know this company called Boat. I mean, this is a new electronic company in
Yes,
the last 4 or 5 years. They do strong retailing. They have their own retail stores, and they do very, very strong wholesaling from where they sell to smaller retailers. Okay, they are the manufacturers also. Okay, so that's a very, very typical example of that. So forget. Okay. So that's the end of this chapter. Okay, on ownership of retail. Now you understood what are the different kinds of ownership. Simple retail, okay, single independent stores, chain stores, then franchisees, and each one of them, and then departmental stores, independent departmental store, inner store. Okay, so vertical marketing system. Okay, all of them, whatever you know now, right? And consumer cooperative stores. Correct? Any questions?
no, sir.
No? Sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Let's go to the next chapter then. I'll try and finish this retailing by next week. If possible, otherwise maybe another week, one day. Okay, so we are now going to talk about store-based strategy mix. Okay, so retailer strategy mix, जैसे हम लोग का marketing mix होता है, product, price, promotion, placement and promotion. That's similarly strategy mix for the retailer. Okay, what are the things that he needs to look at when he's going to do? One is, of course, the first very important thing is store location. Every location doesn't have every store, right? Today, possibly, Varanasi doesn't have a metro or a Walmart. Correct. UP has 2 Walmarts, I know. UP has 2 metros, I know. However, it's not possible in Varanasi. Varanasi possibly would be having doesn't have an IKEA store. Correct. IKEA is there, one in Hyderabad and one in Bombay. So there's a particular strategy behind that. Operating procedures. What kind of operations we are going to do? What kind of operating procedures we are going to follow? Our buying, selling, transportation, logistics, all these are operations, right? Goods and services offered. Okay. So what kind of goods and services are we going to offer? Are we going to do business of household furnishing materials, what IKEA does? Or are we going to sell food products? Or are we going to sell medicines? Okay. So goods and services, what kind of goods and services offered? That's also part of the strategy. Pricing tactics. Are we going to be a discount stores like DMart or Aldi in Europe? They are discount stores. They always, throughout all products, all time, every season they give it. And they have the best discounts in the country. Store atmosphere, ambience. How should the store look like? Very sophisticated or normal? Or really a bazaar style in India? So Big Bazaar is really a bazaar style in India. At the same time, Spencer is a sophisticated supermarket. They have nicely made shelves, nicely made aisles. The whole ambience is very nice. Air conditioning is very nice. Lighting is very nice. The store, planogram is very nice. Customer service. What kind of customer service do I do? Do I have options for home delivery? Do I have options for credit, giving credit? What do I do? Okay. Finally, promotional methods. What are my promotional methods? These are all a part of the strategy mix of that retail. Every retailer has to look into each one of them, each individual elements of that strategy. जैसे हमारा when we talk about marketing mix, product, price, place and promotion 4 हैं, यहाँ पर हमारे पास 7 हैं. Correct? Understood that all of them are important. Now you can just पढ़ के ही आप समझ सकते हो all of them are, and you can differentiate. आप अपने experience से भी differentiate कर सकते हो, right? Okay. Okay. Earning destination retailer status. Okay. So destination retailer status is basically a retailer who sells exclusive products, and people need to go a little distance to go out of their way to go to that store. So furnishing destination retailer is IKEA. So I may have only one IKEA in Mumbai. This whole big city of Mumbai have one IKEA. Even if I need a furnishing product and I'm interested to buy a good furnishing product, I have to go. I don't get it anywhere nearby. I have to really go away and buy. At the same time, I have 10 pantaloons in Mumbai. Okay, so that will not be a destination store. So exclusive stores who exclusive products for which people have to go out of there. Okay, so suppose something like a factory outlet of Adidas. Possibly the whole city of Delhi will have one. आप किसी भी जूते की दुकान में जाके शॉप्स में जाके उसके प्रोडक्ट्स नहीं मिलेंगे. You have to go away from it. So that's a destination shop for Adidas sports shoes. Correct. Okay, some combination of price-oriented and cost-efficient, innovative for exclusive merchant, innovative for exclusive merchandise, and superior customer service. Everything put together. Very cost-efficient, price orientation, innovative and exclusive merchandise, and superior customer service. That's why you will go away from your home that far and go to that store. Correct. Wide or deep merchandise strategy. So if I am selling IKEA is selling furnitures, they have a wide choice of furnitures with all quality, all price, right? Similarly, if possibly Adidas has a factory outlet, you will get all products that's manufactured by Adidas in that store. Possibly you will not get it anywhere else. The wheel of retailing. So basically, it starts from low-end strategy, low price, limited facility and services. Price-sensitive consumers, low-end pricing, low pricing, limited facilities, limited services. Cost is the main thing here. I would like to keep my cost low. If I can keep my cost low, I can give products at lower price to price-sensitive customers, correct? So there are retailers who say, like Walmart, DMart follows the Walmart principles of EDLP and EDLC. EDLP is everyday low price and EDLC is everyday low cost. So they would like to keep their purchasing from the vendors, from the companies at the lowest cost. So they will be bargaining very, very, very stringently with the companies. They will just chew the company for every paise, every ana margin or profits. Okay. 2 पैसा प्रॉफिट बचाने के लिए वो लोग माने 2 दिन तक बार्गेन करते रहे, ठीक है, but they will do it because they want to buy it at the lowest price, lowest cost for them, and they will sell at the lowest price to customers. That's their strategy. Medium strategy: moderate price, improved facilities, broader base of value and service conscious consumers. So medium. I'm not premium. I'm not economy. I'm medium. I've got some good facilities. I've got some good, choice for you. Broader base of value and service. Conscious consumers. And high strategy, of course, high price, premium. Some boutique sort of, supermarkets or retail stores. They are high priced, always high priced. आप boutique stores देखिए हो जिंदगी में बहुत सारे शायद malls में होते हैं. तो वहां पर घुसने से पहले आप 10 बार सोचते हो यार क्या those premium stores जहां पर घुसने से पहले आपको 10 बार सोचना पड़ता है यार अंदर जाऊं huge price हो. excellent facilities and services. वो दुकान में सारा दिन, I will tell you, I've seen stores of, Italian leather stores, which are actual Italian brands. Throughout the day, possibly 2 customers will come. The store has 2 guys who are working for them. They are paying a huge rent for that store. Still, that store has runs well. बस कम कस्टमर है, लेकिन एक प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस है 30,000, 20,000, 25,000. एक दिन में 1 बिक गया, 2 बिक गया तो बहुत है. लेकिन their services are great, they have excellent image, they have excellent facilities. अंदर जाओगे तो लगेगा you have become the really god as a customer. Upscale consumers will come in Mercedes and will come in Audis and BMWs and Porsches of you. Lesson of the wheel of retailing: do not lose sight of your prime customers' price consciousness. So follow your customers. If your major customer is price conscious, major set of customers price conscious, always keep something for him. He will keep coming back. Beware of the dangers in upgrading target markets. Old segments get stickers shock, and new segment does not accept retailers' revising position. What happens is, I am a moderate store. I've got moderate strategy of moderate pricing, or I've got a low end strategy of low pricing. I suddenly go up, and from medium strategy, moderate strategy, I go up and become a high. मेरे जो पुराने customers हैं, they will have a sticker, right? They will have a shock of their life. I used to come to the store regularly to buy something. Today, when Spencer, I will tell you, when 10 years or 12 years earlier, Spencer used to be a very, very normal store looking like Big Bazaar. Big Bazaar has a typical roadside market का एक दिखना feeling है उसमें, बड़ा disorganized सा feeling है, कहीं भी कुछ भी रखा हुआ है, ठीक है, ऐसा एक feeling होता है. यहाँ पर सब्जी है, यहाँ पर इलेक्ट्रिकल अप्लायंसेस है, यहाँ पर कपड़े हैं, यहाँ पर दाल चावल है, यहाँ पर पैक्ड प्रोडक्ट्स पड़े हुए हैं, right? So Spencer, once upon a time, 12, 15 years back, was something like that. Suddenly, 7, 8 years back, they changed the whole country Spencer store into a very, very sophisticated look. Very, very nice, sophisticated. And that was a shocker for the old people who used to own. पुराने लोग जो वहां पर रेगुलर जाते थे, उनको ना, इवन आपको अगर यूपी में कोई या केरला में कोई प्रोडक्ट वहां का लोकल प्रोडक्ट है, वो भी वहां पर मिल जाता था. या बिहार का कोई लोकल प्रोडक्ट है कि सत्तू खाना है, वो भी स्पेंसर में जाके मिल जाएगा आपको, ठीक है. लेकिन वो एकदम वही बिहारी स्टाइल में मिलेगा. लेकिन उसके बाद जब वो नया सोफिस्टिकेटेड बन गया, तो थिंक अबाउट एन एसी हॉल, एसी सुपर एसी supermarket with great lighting, great ambience, great shelf. Normal shelf नहीं, wooden shelf बना लिया, ठीक है. Normal promoters नहीं, promoters with dress. वो आपको अगर सत्तू बेचे तो आपको कैसा लगेगा? आपको लिए एक शॉकर होगा, अरे यार मैं कहाँ पर आके क्या खरीदता था, और मैं यहाँ पर अचार खरीद रहा हूँ और सत्तू खरीद रहा हूँ, वो भी एसी के बीच में, और एक अच्छी वाली ड्रेस करके एक प्रमोटर आके वो मुझे बेच देगा. That's the thing. That's people do not, exactly expect that kind of work. That's a lesson. Do not suddenly upgrade yourself, your target market. Target market means target segment. Okay. Do not create opening for new cost-conscious retailers to emerge. So do not, when you have a cost-conscious, when you want to be a cost-conscious retailer, okay, you have to compromise on a lot of things. You have to compromise on every aspect of that store, starting from your store location to your procedures, to goods and services you offer, to your pricing strategy, to your atmosphere, ambience, customer service. Everything you have to look at if you want to become a cost conscious. So do not create opening for new cost conscious. So what happens is, if you are not cost conscious, you are allowing some other retailer to come and become cost conscious, lower his price, right? You're allowing a competition to come. Correct? Makes sense? आप खुद moderate range में हो, आप आराम से पैसा खर्चा कर रहे हो, इसलिए That's the reason you cannot make your product at low, give your product at low price or modern price. So what happens is you will suddenly find another retailer coming up in that area who is going to offer at low price because he's cost conscious. And that's what happened with Big Bazaar. DMart suddenly came up in the last 10 years and DMart gave a real beating to Big Bazaar because DMart is very cost conscious. DMart doesn't spend exorbitantly. उसके स्टोर में जाके आपको कुछ ऐसा नहीं दिखेगा कि बहुत बड़ा खर्चा कर रहा है. एकदम नॉर्मल पीपल वर्किंग इन द स्टोर, नॉर्मल सिस्टम्स, नॉर्मल प्रोसेसेस, कोई ज्यादा शूशा तमाशा नहीं है. They have kept their cost low. They have not rented big places. They have actually made their own establishment जहां पर उसको रेंट नहीं देना पड़ता. वो खुद बनाए हैं. The premises that DMart is operating are their own premises. जब अपना own premise होता है, that becomes an asset. ठीक है. So if that becomes an asset, you account that asset into depreciation बोलते हैं. अपना अकाउंटिंग टर्म्स में बोलते हैं वो पैसा अगला 10 साल में धीरे धीरे निकल जाएगा. डेप्रिसिएशन, एसेट का वैल्यू जीरो हो जाएगा. लेकिन आप जब रेंट लेते हो, एवरी ईयर आप रेंट पे करते हो, एवरी महीना आप रेंट पे करते हो, तो इट एड्स टू योर कॉस्ट. बट व्हेन इट इज एन एसेट, इट डजंट एड टू योर कॉस्ट. इट्स एन इन्वेस्टमेंट व्हिच गेट्स कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट होता है, व्हिच गेट्स एवरी ईयर 10% या 20% करते करते वो एडजस्टेड होगा अकाउंट्स में. There's a two ways of accounting. कभी सीखोगे तो सिखाऊंगा. ठीक है. Employee customer benefits costing to weigh the cost and benefits of specific service upgrade. So employee customer benefit costing to weigh. So always look at, if I spend this much, what is the benefit to my customer? If I give this service, what is the benefit to my customer and what is the benefit to me? Will my customer buy more from me if I give this service? If they buy more from me, then I can earn more profit and I can surely continue with the business. Use unbundled pricing to separate charge for select services such as delivery, installation, etc. So don't price your product adding up your services. कि मैं home delivery भी करता हूँ. I do home delivery, so I will add that home delivery cost to my pricing. Okay, I will give this facility, credit facility, so I will add 2% because the credit card company charges me 2%. I will add that to the cost, that to the pricing. If you do that, then your price will always go up. Okay, and that will not be a good thing for your customers. Because if your pricing goes up, your competitors will sell at low price. Customers will go there, right? क्या करते हैं? मेरा delivery cost है. I have got a delivery boy who I give 15,000 salary, so I have to recover that salary from my product price. No, don't do it. Don't add that unbundled pricing to separately charge for select services. आपको अगर होम डिलीवरी के लिए 50 रुपए चार्ज करना है, आप चार्ज करो. Don't add it to your. Tell them that for home delivery you have to pay 50 rupees. For credit card usage you have to pay 2%. Say that. Don't add it to your product price. You have seen in many places. If you go with your father, there are many stores, particularly electronic stores. They will say, "Sir, how will you pay?" If you say cash, they are happy. If you say by card, they will say, "Sir, 2%." And that's something which is very, very ethical. You say that this is the charge I'm going to charge you for service. Correct. DMart gives home delivery and says that we are going to charge at 49 rupees for home delivery. Otherwise, you go and pick it up from my pickup points. Grofers does the same thing. Below 1,000 rupees, we are going to charge 50 rupees for home delivery. Tell that. Don't add it to your product price. Correct. Methods of cost containment: standardizing procedures, store layout, store site, product offerings, centralizing buying. So all procedures should be standardized. All store layout should be very standard. Should not be something very exclusive. मैं लंबा चौड़ा store layout बना दिया, which is not required. Store size should be, store layout is in the sense, if I have to look at a store layout of a supermarket, it should be a place which is something like an hall where you put your shelves and everything. Again, that should be the normal layout. Don't try and make something very expensive. Store site should be as per requirement. Product offering should be as per your strategy. What kind of product should I give? There should always be centralized buying, because you can bargain in that case. You buy in a bigger quantity. So if you have 50 stores or 100 stores or 500 stores, make the store layout standard. You go to any DMart store, you find all the store layouts are standard. यहाँ पर shelves हैं, यहाँ पर सब्जी है, यहाँ पर दाल चावल है, etc. etc. Store sizes are almost standard. Store procedures are almost standard. You enter from one side, get out from other side, and so on and so forth. Buying is centralized in their head office, headquarters, so that you can order for all the 500 stores together, and you get a better bargain. Using secondary use locations, existing store fixtures, store fronts, carpeting, placing stores in smaller communities, using inexpensive construction material, honest architecture. So these are all ways. Basically, placing stores in smaller communities are very, very important. Okay, why? Because if you place stores in smaller community, you get loyal customers from it. That customer will be there, your loyal, because वो उसी के जैसे नॉर्मल किराना दुकान आपके घर के पास एक होता है, उसके पास हर चीज खरीदने के लिए आता है. So try and place your stores in smaller communities. Use inexpensive construction material. बहुत expensive shelves लगा दिए, बहुत expensive, fixtures लगा दिए. That's not great. Just add to your cost. Using secondary use locations, existing store fixtures, store fronts, carpeting. Always जरूरी नहीं होता. Using planar fixtures and displays, reusing fixtures and from closed stores. If you have closed a store somewhere, bring those fixtures, वहाँ के shelves, वहाँ के counters, everything, bring it to the store and put it. You can reduce your cost. Correct. Use display fixtures and displays. When you go to a supermarket, we have seen a lot of displays, right? Racks, shelves, etc. Use those shelves, cut cost. Use plain shelves, plain, fixtures to cut cost. Joining cooperative buying and advertising programs, increased use of web versus traditional advertising catalogs. Okay, so have your websites made, promote your products through your website, that will reduce cost. Try and join cooperative stores, cooperative buying together. Three chains buying together from a company. Self-service operations, increased use of part-time personnel. So do not use much labor or manpower in a store. Let your consumers have a self-service operation. They buy the whole product, they come out, check out, carry it, and go. In some of our stores, you will find there are people who are there to help customers. There are promoters who are there to come help customers. There are people in the exit counter, जहाँ पर आप cash counter है, वहाँ पर एक बंदा बैठा हुआ है आपका product को, they're putting it in their bag, or they're giving a bag and putting it in their bag. These are labors. Not required. Make it self-service. You are reducing cost on that manpower. Even if you need manpower, use part-time manpower, not a full-time manpower. For part-time manpower, you do not have to pay. These are contract people. You do not have to pay, gratuity, provident fund, this allowance, that allowance. So you reduce your cost. Okay, reduce product proliferation. That basically proliferation means you are there's something unnecessary product range बढ़ाना. That's what is called. So reduce that. Not required. Whatever your customer requires, give them that choice. Okay. So, we'll stop it today. Retail strategy alternatives we study next day. Today is already 9 o'clock. Okay, so tomorrow,
Okay.
tomorrow we are going to start what we're going to do. Okay.
Okay, sir.